Hi friend, I just wanted to take a minute to invite you to our Lash Biz Babes Experience 2026. This is a one-day all online event happening on May 2nd, and our theme for the year is going all in. We are shaking things up and doing it differently than anyone ever has before. This is going to be an all online event as usual, but it's going to be 100% a curated journey throughout your day as we guide you through the mindset, strategy, and passion needed to go all in on your business to make it your best year in business yet. All lash artists, estheticians, and beauty professionals are invited to join us. There will be guided sessions, interactive workshops, a panel discussion, and big giveaways happening throughout that whole day. And tickets are on sale now for only $199. Payment plans are available. Let's go all in on our businesses for 2026 together. All the details and the link for tickets are down in the show notes below. I would love to have you join us online in May. Welcome to Lash Biz Babes, the podcast for solo beauty business owners who want to build a full clientele and create a business and life that they truly love. My name is Erica. I'm your host. I'm a lash artist turned beauty business coach, lash educator, and social media manager for salons and beauty businesses. I'm so happy that you're here. Let's go ahead and jump into today's episode. Welcome back to another episode of Lash Biz Babes. My name is Erica. I'm your host, and this week I was kind of honestly struggling with what we should talk about today. We've been talking a lot about marketing, a lot about clientele building, and I'm gonna be honest, I am feeling like I'm in the mood to talk about something else and yap about something else. So I'm like, well, what else would be really beneficial for you guys to hear right now? Honestly, I kind of keep like mental tabs and like actually a legit list of questions I see being asked in the industry, common problems I'm seeing being faced, things like that. And I pull a lot of my inspiration for content and podcast episode ideas from the questions that you guys are asking and the struggles that you're having. And, I've seen a few posts in Facebook groups lately, some people on threads talking about certain things. And I decided tonight that I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a pep talk, I guess. I always want this podcast to be a place where you can not just like learn new things and like learn how to build your clientele and learn the strategy side of things, but I truly believe that mindset is such an important part of that as well. And I think I kind of touched on that a bit on a recent episode. But I think both of those really play hand in hand, and you can have like the perfect strategy and you can know step by step how to grow your clientele and, what to do with your lashes or your services or all the technical side of things with your skills. But if you don't have the mindset behind it, if you don't believe in yourself, if you are doubting yourself or struggling or, having limiting beliefs, it's going to be really hard to take action on those things. And then it's going to be really hard to grow your business when you are having all of this turmoil inside of your mind, inside of your heart, inside of your soul, really. And so that's something I wanted to talk about tonight. This thought really started for me a few days back, and I'm probably actually going to make like a social media post about this sometime soon because it's on my list of content ideas. This is where the thought originated, is that if you are giving up on trying to grow your business on social media just because one post didn't perform well, or you even had a few posts that didn't perform well just because it didn't get a lot of likes, it didn't get a lot of shares, maybe your family or your friends didn't like it or share it or support it, or whatever that looks like. Just because you had posts that didn't perform well on social media, that doesn't mean that you have to give up on your business because of that, or give up posting online, or if you really let one poor performing post hold you back from continuing to post and continuing to grow your business online, then that's why your business isn't growing online. And that's why your business isn't growing in person, because you're letting these things hold you back. And I think that can be a kind of a hard conversation when you realize that sometimes, and this isn't always the case, please don't misconstrue my words in that sense, but it oftentimes happens where you are the one in your own way. You are the one who's holding yourself back. And it's hard to look at yourself and your own actions and your own thoughts and your own habits that are contributing to your lack of progress. Now, I only feel like this is something I can speak on to a level because I have experienced it myself so many times where I was truly the only one in my own way. Now, let me give you some examples of this from my own life and my own career, my own businesses. Back when I first became a lash artist, I think I've talked about this before, but worked in a retail job while I was in aesthetics school. I went to aesthetics school in Utah. If you don't know about the aesthetics and beauty lash industry in Utah, then what you need to know about it is that it can be considered extremely saturated. There are a lot of estheticians, there are a lot of lash artists in Utah, essentially on quote unquote every corner, right? And so when I was in aesthetic school, there was a spa, I believe it was like an Aveda spa or something similar to that, that was across the hallway from the boutique that I worked at in the mall while I was attending school. And there was one time where an esthetician from said spa came on break and came across the hall and was looking through the boutique that I worked at on her break. And she had her name tag on, and it's, it said where she worked and that she was the esthetician. And so I asked her about it while I was talking to her and was asking her about, being an esthetician, if she really likes it, telling her I was in aesthetic school. And she had told me that, oh, well, you really need to move to another state. It's so saturated. You can't be successful with it here. And had kind of poured into me this like negative, I don't want to say negative necessarily, but definitely like a self-limiting mindset of being an esthetician in Utah. So I kind of took that in as truth, being this baby esthetician that didn't really know better. I feel like I didn't have as good of a mindset back then. I had a lot of struggles with self-doubt, things like that. And so I kind of took this as law, took this as just full and complete truth that I and internalized that I could not be successful as an esthetician where I lived because of how many others there were doing it and that there weren't enough clients to go around for everyone. And this was something that absolutely held me back for so long. And it definitely was just a limiting belief because there's clients enough to go around for everybody. And when I realized that, that was such a breakthrough for me that, okay, I am not taking action on growing my business because I internally have this belief that there is not enough to go around for everyone. There's not enough clients for everyone. There's too many other estheticians. There's too many other lash artists. The market's saturated. And so because of that, I felt like externally I was taking action. I wanted to grow my business, but it's not really my fault. It's saturated. There's not enough clients. So, that's why my business isn't growing. When in reality, my business wasn't growing because I wasn't taking action to grow it appropriately. I was letting these things hold me back. These limiting beliefs hold me back. And I wasn't really putting forth the best effort that I could, even though I don't think I really realized that on a conscious level at the time. I can look back on it and realize it now, but at the time, it was more happening on a subconscious level. Like externally, I felt like I was doing quote unquote everything I can to grow my business, but in reality, that wasn't the truth. And so I share this with you as just like an example of how I truly was the one in my own way because of my own self-doubt, my own limiting beliefs, and my own lack of action. And that's not an easy thing to like admit to yourself or admit to other people or, to really look at is how you are contributing to your lack of progress in growing your business. So I'm going to kind of tie that back into what I was saying earlier. If you let one poor performing post hold you back from fully showing up online, being your authentic self, that can be a reason why you're not growing or you're contributing to your lack of progress in growing your business. If you let the opinions of other people, and I know this is a hard one, I've had some terrible things be said to me before and some hard things that have been said to me before. And it's very easy to kind of let the opinions of other people or their own limiting beliefs that they're projecting on you to like let those be taking the driver's seat in your life and in your business. But at the end of the day, that is something that can be holding you back and contributing to your lack of progress. For me, that was things like being told that I was not ambitious enough to run my own business, that because I was a mom, I wouldn't be able to do it. It was, I think the quote on that one, the word for word quote was, no offense, but I don't think you can do it because you have kids. Being discouraged and like having other people in the industry literally talk crap about me to a client right in front of my face. Like there's so many of these situations that you run into sometimes where you're like then scared to make any progress with your business, right? You're scared to make a move because what would this person think? Or this person doesn't think I can do it. Or this person was talking crap about me. Or, this company doesn't like me, this brand, blah, 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 whatever. And then you're scared to make the next move in your business, to show up online, to get up on stage and speak, to start your brand, become an educator, kind of, move into that next phase of what you want to do and those big goals that you have for yourself. You're scared to put yourself out there because of these other opinions of other people. And at the end of the day, you really have to decide what's more important, like their opinion or you doing what you feel like you're called to do in this life and with your business. And that can be a hard one. That's something that took me a good chunk of time, decent amount of time to work through some of those things, especially if and when they're coming from people who are close to you too. A lack of family support, a lack of friend support can be really hard. I had a friend who I was very close with at the time that told me that I had so much more potential in my life than just doing lashes. And I don't know, it can be very hard when you don't have that family or that friend support, or when people who are close to you are doubting you or, telling you these kinds of things. And I think for me, I can really only speak on this from the perspective of, the experiences that I've gone through and what helped me push through and pull through and, keep moving forward. And I think part of that was just being stubborn for me, but also just kind of deciding, what do I want? Because at the end of the day, like it's not really going to matter what other people thought or what they think or, what they decide to do with their lives, what you decide to do with your life. The way I view it is like at the end of your life, right? Say that like on the day that you're gonna die, right? You're looking back at your life and at the things that you did, at the things that you didn't do, the things you went for, the things you didn't go for. What's going to matter the most? Will you regret not going for it? Will you always wonder what would have happened if you would have gone for it? Would you have wished maybe you would have quit sooner? I mean, there's so many different situations and experiences that we all have, but that's kind of the lens that I view things through, is like at the end of my life, what's going to matter the most? And what do I want that to look like? What do I want that to feel like? And that's kind of how I view things. And for me, that meant that I needed to continue moving forward regardless of what these people thought of me, what these people were projecting onto me, what just, it's not that I didn't love or care about them, but it was that I was going to do what I felt I was being called to do, what I feel like I'm meant to do, regardless of that. And that's not always an easy thing, but for me, it's been very rewarding to prove people wrong, I guess, but then also just to really live in my true authentic self and be the kind of person that I want to be. And so kind of tying that back in for you, if you are feeling this, if you're facing criticism or self-doubt or these negative opinions of other people, first, I'm just going to send you some love, because I know that's always a tough situation to find yourself in. I think to some degree you can take what they have to say into account, because especially if you love and care about them, but also it doesn't have to be what you live by. You don't have to let them be making your decisions for you. And I think that happens on a subconscious level sometimes too, where you don't realize that you are holding yourself back because of what other people have said or what they might think about you. And you're kind of running all of your decisions through this filter of like, what would this person think? What would they do? Like, what are they going to think of me if I make this move? That kind of thing. I feel like I'm kind of rambling at this point, but I have a lot of thoughts about that. And I've had a lot of several experiences with it. And I think that is something that we all struggle with as entrepreneurs is, really fully showing up for ourselves, showing up for our business and being our authentic selves because, what is this person going to think about me or, whatever that thought might be for you. But at the end of the day, I hope that you won't let other people's opinions hold you back. And even to a point or a degree, like, you can't really like make up what they might be thinking or what they might not be thinking, right? I think there's sometimes where we think in our head, oh, well, they would probably, look down on me for that, or they would judge me for that. And you have no idea what they would or wouldn't think about it for sure. Like you're making these stories up and these basically lies up in your head that your body and your brain are now believing. And that can be detrimental, right? And so it's like, these aren't even always the truth. It's like stories that we're making up for ourselves, right? So you really have to look at that, like, is this even true or not? So those are a few things that have helped me with that. But at the end of the day, I just want you to remember that you are in control of your life and of your business, and you get to make the decisions that you want to make just because you want to make them. And if you want to be an educator, but you're feeling imposter syndrome, you're too scared, what would so-and-so think, you're not qualified enough, you're not good enough, whatever other excuse, you want to start your own brand, you want to start a podcast, you want to start a new business, you want to do all these things, like just go for it. If that's what you want to do, then do it. I remember when I wanted to kind of get into more of like the education and the coaching space, like my lash bestie was like, if you want to be a business coach, then go be a damn business coach. Like, who cares? And I think especially when you are kind of going from that lash artist into more of like different parts of the industry, it can feel a little weird because it's like, well, who am I to, I'm just like this lash artist, and who am I to try and like help other people or teach other people or feel like I could be any kind of like authority or expert in the industry or whatever, right? But at the end of the day, like the people who are like quote unquote experts or authorities or big names in the industry, whatever, the only reason that they're at where they are, that they are a big name or an expert or an authority or whatever, is because they've made themselves into that. They branded themselves as an expert. They continued to show up online. They created the content and they did it regardless of what anyone thought of them. And they kept moving forward. And I think at the end of the day, that's what we kind of have to do as well. Is like, if you want to do something, even if you just want to grow your lash business or, grow your aesthetics business or your hair business or whatever kind of services you offer, like you just have to go for it and you just have to do it and keep moving one foot in front of the other, these little baby steps, because it's all these little baby steps towards your big goals that are really going to make the most progress for you. And I think in regards to like social media and things like that too, I think that's what a lot of people miss, is that it really is a long game. And it's just like your business, like your social media and your business, they're both long games, right? You are building your brand and it's not going to happen overnight. On social media, I think that's kind of what you have to keep in perspective too, is like, just because some post didn't perform well or didn't get as much engagement, didn't get as many likes, didn't get as many comments, or you don't have as many followers, whatever, it's all like, every post I view is like a building block to building your brand. You're adding pieces to it, you're building it up and cementing like who you are as a business and what you offer and what makes you stand out. And you're putting all these pieces together, you're building your brand, and it's not something that's going to get built overnight. It's a gradual progress, and each post is meant to help you like solidify your brand. I hope that makes sense because it makes so much sense in my head, but I hope that I explained that well enough. But all in all, with your social media and building your business, it really is this thing where it's like this brick by brick process of building your brand, building your business. And it takes time, it takes dedication. And I'm not going to say it takes motivation because at the end of the day, motivation is a feeling that comes and goes. And you can't depend on that to show up for yourself and show up for your business and do the hard things it's going to take for you to grow as a business, as like to grow your clientele, right? It takes dedication and showing up when you don't feel like it and doing the things and progressing each day. And even if that is small progress, 1% every day, maybe it's 5% today, 10% tomorrow, 2% the next day, 0.5% the next day. Regardless of that, you're still growing each and every day, little bit by little bit. And I think that forward progress is going to make the most difference for you this year when you are focusing on what little thing can I do to grow my business today? What little thing can I do to grow my brand today and really cement what my values are as a business, what I stand for, what I offer, who I am. And if you don't know those things about yourself and your business, like what does your business stand for? What are your values? What's your mission statement? Those types of things. That is something I personally would recommend writing down and solidifying just who you are as a brand, right? Even if you're just a lash artist. I don't want to say just lash artist. There's nothing wrong with that. That makes it sound weird. But like, even if the only thing you offer is lashes or, beauty services, this is still something you can solidify, like who you are as a business and who you want to be, like, what do you want to be known for? This is kind of like your brand messaging, which I think we've talked about on a couple of recent episodes. But it really is like the center point of what your content is going to be, what your captions can be written about, what your website copy can be, the types of clients that you want to attract. Like, there's a lot of things that can stem out from this. So I think it's important to know who you are, and then that way you can solidify your brand. You can keep growing towards it every day. I'm just, sharing from the heart on a lot of this. So I hope and pray that like it comes across and, how I'm intending it to, and just that it is able to help you and inspire you today. And just, I know there are hard days and it's so hard to wake up and keep trying, especially if the day before was difficult, or especially when it feels like maybe it's not working, right? You're not gaining any traction on social media. You're not getting any new clients in. Clients are falling off the books, whatever that looks like for you. We all have our hard days and it's hard to keep up and keep moving forward. I've had to really, in the last year or two, look at, what do I have control of? What do I not have control of? And that's something that's hard for me because I get so anxious. I have a lot of anxiety sometimes. And so looking at what I can actually control and what can I do about this, right? What I can control is how I react to things. I can control my own actions and I can control my progress, whether or not I'm moving forward or not, right? And so for me, I really want to look at, even if it's hard to look at, how can I move forward today and how am I contributing to my non-progress on hard days? Because it's not always outside forces, for me anyway. I don't know, maybe you're different than me, but for me, I know there's things that I can be working on even, today that I can do better on tomorrow, and I can keep trying and keep moving forward. And I think that in my mind, that's kind of what makes a successful business owner, is that they are willing to look at how they're contributing to that, and they are always, just looking for ways to improve. They're looking for ways to keep moving forward and focusing on what they can control. So yeah, these are some of my just unfiltered thoughts. You cannot let one low performing post let you give up on growing your business online. You cannot let other people's opinions hold you back from doing what you feel called to do. You cannot let your own self-doubt get in the way of building your clientele and growing your business. You can't let all of the negative imposter syndrome and all these things hold you back from that next step that you want to take, right? If you want to be an educator, you want to start your own brand, you want to become a lash artist, you want to add on new service, you get to be who you want to be. And the only thing that is blocking you from getting there is your own actions. And I truly believe that if we could all really get out of our own way, we could do a whole lot of really great things in our life and in our business. So, keep moving forward. Keep an open mind to the possibilities around you, to the opportunities that you have around you, because I promise there's probably a lot more than you realize. And when you are looking for those opportunities, you have an open mind to it, is way more likely to come your way. And so some of the things I remind myself of, I had when we were living in the trailer, which if you didn't know this, when we were, so almost 2 years ago now, wow, we moved into our camp trailer and lived in it for a year and a half while we were trying to buy a house and then while they were building our house. And I really struggled with my mindset during this time. And so I was putting these bright pink sticky notes up everywhere to remind myself of the opportunities that I had around me, right? And so it was things like, you were born to do something great with your life, which is a quote from the Ed Milet podcast, which I absolutely love. Your next sale can come in at any minute. Your next booking can come in at any minute. Your next client can book at any minute. That was another one that I loved. And having these little reminders around me of these positive things and these reframed thoughts, because some of these things were like negative things or self-doubt that I had within me, right? So it was these reframed beliefs, these reframed thoughts, and I would put them around me, right? Another one, like, she is waiting for you. And in my mind, that was like that next, basically kind of like that next level version of myself, the version of myself that already has everything that I want. Like, she is waiting for me. I loved that one. I'm trying to remember some of the other ones that I had up. When I took them down, they were not sticky anymore, so I couldn't put them back up again. I need to make new ones. But I love having, just these positive affirmations, these positive thoughts around, just to remind me to keep an open mind and look around for opportunities and just to remember who I am. And I would just encourage you to remember who you are. You were born to do great things with your life, and I'm cheering you on 100% all the way. I really hope that this is something that helps someone out there, even if it's just one person. Because these are all, like I said, these are all things I've struggled with. And I think it every now and again is a good thing to, have these reminders to keep on going and keep putting one foot in front of the other. Because there are a lot of hard days as entrepreneurs, and there's a lot of days where I wake up and I'm like, I don't feel like doing this all over again today. So if you ever felt like that, just know you're not alone, and I'm cheering you on. And next week, we are going to be talking about planning for branding photo shoots and how to prep for one, how to plan one, how to find a photographer for one, those kinds of things. At the time of recording this, I'm getting ready to do my next branding shoot soon in the next couple of weeks. So I'm excited for that. So as I've been prepping for it, I've been writing down notes and taking mental notes for you guys so that I can share, what that process is. I've done this a few different times myself. So that's what we're going to be talking about next week. If you're not already subscribed to the podcast, make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening at. We have new episodes coming out every Tuesday for you. And if we aren't already friends on Instagram, definitely come follow me over there at XOEricaShram. Would love to be your friend on Instagram. I hope you have a wonderful week. Keep moving forward. Believe in yourself. I truly believe we have to be our own biggest cheerleaders. No matter what happens, just believe in yourself so hard and you will get there. So I love you. Have the best week ever, and I will see you next week.